2-1, St. Cloud Apollo leading Hibbing. Can they hang on? I don't know if they've been in this favorite role before, the leadership, but they can hang on for one more period. They're in the semifinals.
Someone
Apollo
forgot to tell Apollo they're not supposed to be playing and winning against the #1 team in the state, but they've earned their way in here, guys. I think if you see a wide open third period.
Well, I think Hibbing's going to come after them. They're going to have to, but I like St. Cloud's defense right now. Their goaltender. They seem to be playing with a great deal of confidence and strength back there. And if they continue to move the puck out as quickly as they have been and stay back and not try to rush the puck too much, they're going to be pretty tough to crack.
It's a 2-1 score. Recapping the goals, Hiltner getting his 28th goal of the year. And Lou, you talk about a dominance by a line. Heiniemi, Hiltner, and Hallstrom have totaled of 50 of the 122 goals that Apollo has scored so far. That's a 41% ratio. So to say that they score a lot of goals, I guess, is really an understatement.
Well, they're very talented as a unit and individually, and Hiltner is a real surprise to many people. They hadn't heard too much about him, but I'm sure the people are looking at him today know what kind of ability this boy's got. He's been able to move the puck. He's strong. He's got a good stride. He can put the puck in the net. He's a pretty dominant force on the ice today for St. Cloud Apollo.
And Hallstrom equaled his number in goals at the 7:41 mark of the second period, his 14th goal of the year. And Antonio Catani got his 28th goal of the year at 13:25. And that's where we stand after 2 periods of play. I guess if you had to think about Eddie Zins at this particular time and having this hockey team here in this position, like, what would you tell them in the locker room after 2?
Well, just to continue doing the things they're doing. Anytime they have problems with the puck in their own zone, make sure they get a whistle. Don't blind pass the puck in your own zone. Don't drop any passes around their blue line. And if you have nothing to do, keep the puck ahead. Once you gain your blue line, can't find anybody put in the opposition zone.
Iozo, Andrikin, and Marold start for Hibbing. That is Hansen wristing it up to far boards, and it rolls past Murphy. And Ken Carlson back up to pick it up on the far side. Andrikin trying to hold the zone with help from Hansen, wristing it toward the net. Iozo over skid of the puck, shot by Marold. Knocked down, shot, and rebound, and a goal. Andrikin was right there as it combines with Marold, Iozo, and Andrikin. And we've got a tie game at 2-2.
Well, St. Cloud getting a little lackadaisical in front of their own net allowed Hibbing to have 3 opportunities. Fritz made a couple of big saves, but Hansen was on the doorstep, and they finally put that one away to tie this game and tie it in the first 19 seconds. You'll see the opportunities right here. There's one save, there's a second save. The rebound comes over on the far side, and they finally tie this game up, because Fritz couldn't do it alone on the doorstep, and Andrikin, who's done it all year long for Hibbing, does it again right now, ties the game up as he gets a rebound right on the doorstep and puts it in the empty net.
And the Hibbing fans very enthusiastic with the comeback here of their beloved Blue Jackets. And a 2-2 game with 14:41 remaining. And now St. Cloud, let's see how they handle being tied here. They are 17-6-1 of the year, and Hibbing is 21-1-1. Moving it up ice, here's Iozo with a wrist shot, knocked down by the goaltender, Troy Fritz. And it's set up, trying to go to the high slot area. Good pressure by Marold. Down to the corner, Marold's pass, and Hansen tried to come up with it. Kristoff over to Hansen. Hansen just outside the blue line, tried to play it in over the line. And whistle and play will be stopped back in the Apollo zone.
Well, Hibbing just continues to put the pressure on, scoring that goal. They've got a great deal of enthusiasm and confidence down there right now. St. Cloud reeling a little bit, not controlling the puck the way they had earlier. Hibbing almost scored again. They had a good opportunity just to have it cleared away from the slot area.
And it's set up now in the high slot area, turning it around, and on the wing on the near side. With the puck was Grillo. Grillo down to the corner, back in behind Charpentier. Charpentier with it now. Is Hibbing holding the zone here as Antonio Catani lost control of the puck, comes out over to center ice. And it's played in over the blue line, down to the corner, and Hajduk goes off to his left side as he watches teammates, Catani in particular, play it back down to the Apollo zone. And striding back now to pick it up along the near wing, and it's 2-2 at the point, and it was held in. A shot was taken by Bryant from the point, just tipped wide. Around to the far side over to triplet turn, trying to get some help to bring it out of the zone. Whistle and play will be stopped in the Eagle zone.
St. Cloud not looking as quick right now as they had earlier. They seem to be standing and watching rather than reacting immediately and anticipating. Hibbing putting on pressure. They're moving. They've got a great deal of movement going in all zones, where St. Cloud is just actually standing around waiting for the puck to come to them, waiting to see what happens. If they continue this, they're going to give a lot of opportunity to Hibbing the rest of the way.
13 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the third period. And coming back is Mike Vidmar on the near boards, backhanding it on the lead, trying to go to Schwartz. Played across ice, coming in over the blue line. Hallstrom on the wing, turned away by the Blue Jackets in the neutral zone. Intercepted there. Carlson played it back in over the blue line. Whistle and play will be stopped with 13:02 remaining in the third period. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Well, Mark Rosen said to us before the period started he thought there was going to be overtime. We all said, oh no, and especially the teams. They don't want to have to play extra because it just takes a little away from them for tomorrow.
12:56 remaining in the third period now, and it's set up trying to go off of the pass was Heiniemi behind the net. Heiniemi lost it coming over to help out was Vidmar on the near boards, held in. Carlson with a shot, knocked down to the high slot, shot Hajduk pushing it aside, and now the Blue Jackets bring it out of their own zone. Hagen, Kasner, and Claudio out as a unit, and chasing it off on the wing on the far side. Claudio and trying to get some help from Kasner and Hagen, trying to move it to the right side of the net, knocked down, and now Apollo clears it. Out of it is center ice. There is Hansen angling it off the sideboards. Puck loose at center ice. Out with it is Hansen, and he'll backhand it down to the corner. And going back is Murphy. Murphy steering it around to the far wing. 12:10 remaining here is Iozo now trying to hold the zone. Apollo has been tied at 2. They led 2-0 on goals by Hiltner and also Hallstrom. And countering for the Blue Jackets, Antonio Catani along with Andrikin. And the puck is loose at center ice. Andrikin with it. Andrikin trying to move around the check. And it's played by the Eagles down to the corner of the left side. Going back is Hansen for the Blue Jackets on the near boards with 11:40 remaining in the period. Christoph angling it around the boards over to Andrikin. His lead pass to Iozo. Marolt on his right. And it was intercepted, and back goes Lentner the other way. And he fires it in on Hajduk, who steers it down to the far corner. 11:24 remaining in a 2-2 game here in this quarterfinal action. Andrikin moving it out of his own zone, stick handling with the puck. Marolt on his off wing, tried to play it in over the blue line. Andrikin with it. Andrikin to Iozo, right out in front, and the save by Troy Fritz.
Well, Andrikin coming around the outside, almost set up another goal for Hibbing. You've got to watch him. He's very dangerous. He cuts around the outside with Iozo in front. Here's Andrikin coming around, breaking for the net, leaning in, getting that pass right in front, right on the doorstep, only to have a save made by Fritz, keeping his game tied at 2.
Face-off coming up to the left side of Troy Fritz. 2.54 goals against average. 43 goals allowed all season long. And the puck is loose along the far boards. Over to Murphy, back down to the wing. Murphy trying to get help from his line mates to get it out of the zone. Here's Ross ball at center ice, flipping it down. And it rolls in behind Hajduk, knocking it down with a big stick. Played on the near side as it's held in at the point by Carlson. Flipped it in behind the net. In a 2-2 game here. Tied up at the St. Paul Civic Center. And Apollo working the wing on the near side. We're down to 10:43 remaining at a regulation time. And Hibbing tying up the Apollo Eagles. And it's set up in the neutral zone. With it is Crookton. Crookton going around over to Murphy. And he'll wrist it back in the zone. As Hibbing now with championships in 52 and 73. Break it out of their own zone. And at center ice, Antonio Catani tried to come up with it around over to Murphy. Murphy slapping it off the sideboards, trying to go off over to Crookton. And it comes back now and set up on the near side. And moving it up ice, here's Catani. Catani and Grillo and Zezel as a unit. Here's Grillo with a shot. It's off the plexiglass down to the corner. And it's set up now, moving right out in front. Shot to goal! As it may have been misplayed out front, as I think Fritz was fooled. Lou, and not sure where to go with it there.
Well, actually, that puck seemed to just hit a couple skates or feet, but Fritz anticipating a harder shot. You'll see right here, I think it's Grillo taking the shot, and it bounces off one of his defenseman's skates. That's what it was. I think it was Carlson right in front. Unfortunately, it hit him. Nothing he could do about it, and trickled through Fritz's legs at the same time as Zeisel was coming in from the side. You see it right there, and it even hit Fritz's inside skate as it made its way into the net.
So the goal may go to the last player to touch the puck there, Lou, and I think that might be Grillo, but we'll wait and get the official call. And it's played on the far side, back in over the blue line. It goes over to Gaustad, out over to center ice. And it comes loose in the neutral zone with 9:50 remaining in the period. Carlson in on Hajduk. Hajduk to Gaustad on the far wing. As Hibbing now taking control, moving it up ice. And coming in over the blue line, looking for Schwartz in the slot, trying to get it to him. Or Hagen, pardon me. And it's cleared back out over to center ice in the neutral zone. Hiltner coming in over the blue line. And Hiltner down to the corner, flips it on the wing on the near side. And Hagen over to pick it up. And coming back over now, and it's controlled. Back out at center ice. Bryant may get that goal, we are told. Number 10, maybe. We'll wait for the official call, but it is Bryant who will be credited with the goal for the Hibbing Blue Jackets. And it's played in over the blue line, back in the Apollo zone. And going back now, the Eagles trailing 3-2. First time they've been down in this hockey game. Hibbing out of section 7, taking the lead here. Working the wing on the near side, and coming up ice now. Apollo, can they come back? This is Jeremy Mendel, the freshman, in over the blue line, and he tried to wrist it to the net. Mendel working the wing with McLeod. It's turned away. Back the other side comes Andrikin in over the blue line, and he's upended by Carlson. The puck cleared from the slot on the far wing as Zenzen back there to try and help out. Andrikin tried to come up with a right up front shot and a goal. Andrikin, Iozo right there. And it's now a 4-2 game as Iozo gets the goal, and for him, it would be his 25th of the year.
Well, stealing that puck in the opposition zone always pays dividends if you're around the net. That's what happened right there. Iozo coming up with the puck, coming in behind the net. You see him fight off the checker right there, steals the puck, comes around, and puts it through Fritz's legs to put Hibbing up 4-2 with 8:25 to go. This top line of Hibbing counting again as Iozo coming around from behind the net, fights off a check, steals the puck, and whips it home.
So we have a 2-goal deficit now for Apollo. And coming in over the blue line, here's Antonio Catani moving it in. Shot knocked down in the save. And it's played back to the net, and Antonio Catani almost came up with his second goal of the game, Lou.
Well, Hibbing's got St. Cloud on nerves right now, and they're getting some opportunities just through carelessness of St. Cloud.
The score is 4-2. This is Hockey 84 live from the St. Paul Civic Center. Eight minutes and 16 seconds remaining here in this quarterfinal game from the St. Paul Civic Center. And Hibbing has come back and taken a 4-2 lead. Iozo with a goal, Bryant a goal in this period, and Andrikin with a goal.
Hibbing a leading team all year long, having only one loss, showing why they've only had one loss. They never quit. They keep coming after you. They're down 2-0. Scored a big power play goal right before the end of the second period. Had that momentum carry him through right on the third.
And we have 8:13 remaining in regulation time for St. Cloud Apollo. Coming around to the near side, here's tripped over the puck, and he's bumped and back in behind. And I believe the penalty is going to go against Hibbing. And with the score 4-2, this is Hockey 84 live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Well, Kelly Esty coming in with a high elbow on Carlson right there. Even though Esty's only 150 pounds and Carlson 200, he came in with a great deal of force, got the elbow up high, and now will sit out a penalty. Well, St. Cloud gets the opportunity to cut that 2-goal deficit to 1 on the power play.
And it's played back down in the Apollo zone now with 7:58 remaining in regulation time. It's a 4-2 game here at the St. Paul Civic Center. Hiltner with it. Hiltner lost control of the puck, and a shot is poke check clear as Apollo here getting a little careless even though they have the man advantage. Iozo, one of the 4 checkers along with Andrikin. And it's played back in over the blue line of the Apollo Eagles. 17-6-1, and they had a great year in our definitely the Cinderella team of the tournament, and we still have 7:25 remaining. Coming in over the blue line, Hainimi with a shot. Hainimi played it behind the net. And it's set up, and they try to go to the point of the far side. It's broken up. Iozo tried to backhand it out of the zone. It was held in. Hiltner with it, trying to go to Hainimi with a shot. And it's played behind Haidu. 7:08 remaining, but more importantly, 1:04 in the penalty time, as Esty in the penalty box for the Blue Jackets of Hibbing. Down to the corner, Hallstrom with it. He is one of the goals for Apollo. The other to Hiltner. That is Carlson trying to wrist it in the high slot, but his shot is deflected down to the corner off the stick of Hiltner. Back to Carlson holding the point. As Carlson with it, trying to wrist it toward the net. And Hiltner in the slotted and poke check clear of his stick. And the Blue Jackets clear it back in the Apollo zone. 6:37 is Coach Ed Zins looks on. And moving it up ice. And it's controlled by Carlson. Carlson, 25 seconds remaining at a penalty time here, as Apollo has it, and with it is Mendel. Cross ice over to Krupkin. Got it taken away there, and it's cleared by Wittmar of Hibbing back in the Apollo zone. 14-4 for the Blue Jackets of Hibbing in state tournament play. 2 championships. Have finished in 3rd place 3 times, and the consolation championship back in 1974. And both teams are at full strength, so Apollo does not capitalize on the man advantage situation. And Hibbing now stick handling with the puck, moving right out in front and moving it in. Nikolov passing it off, shot and a goal. As Nikolov passing it off, and right out in front, Lou.
Certainly was a fine play. Hibbing killed off the power play attempt that St. Cloud had. Didn't give many opportunities. In the moment that that power play was over, they put that puck down in the St. Cloud zone. A fine two-way passing play puts St. Cloud Apollo down by 3 with 5:50 to go. And Hibbing right now looking every bit like the favorite coming into this tournament, as they storm in this period for 4 goals, taking a 5-2 advantage on a two-way passing play after they stole that puck right on the doorstep. And St. Cloud reeling now down 3 goals and having to get some composure back, something that they seem to have lost since the first minute of play in this 3rd period.
Well, I don't feel too bad. Everybody up here is not sure who got the goal. Some of those Hibbing numbers are a little bit difficult to read here from our vantage point. And it's back to the point, and the shot is taken, and the goal will go to Schwartz, his 5th goal of the year. And it's played up ice, coming back in over the blue line. With it is Mendel. Mendel with it now, stick handed with the puck, trying to break it out of the zone. Here's Mendel with 5:19 remaining in regulation time. Mendel working in, and he lost control of the puck on the near side. Hibbing now in control on the goal by Schwartz, and it's picked up by Gaustad on the far side, knocking it down to the far wing. And Apollo now has to get something going here, trailing 5-2, whistle, and play will be stopped. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with more from the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Republic has a warm spot for you. Los Angeles, $349 round trip. Call a travel agent or Republic Airlines.
If Hibbing goes on to win this game, as it looks like they will right now, we're going to hope that they wear their white uniforms some more so we can see the numbers on the back.
They are a little difficult, aren't they, Lou?
They certainly are.
And 4 minutes and 52 seconds remaining. They may not look that way on your screen, but they are indeed difficult to see. And there's a young man with a television set watching the tournament here on WCCO. 4 minutes and 52 seconds remaining. 5 consecutive goals now, Lou, for Hibbing. And you can well understand why they are 21-1 in the year. And trying to move it right out in front. There's Marold. Marold with a shot. He fired it up over the plexiglass and out of play.
Well, Mike Hiltner had to come back to make a fine play on Marold, because Marold got a good feed out from the corner. As Fritz was moving across, he went down to block the lower end. Marold was going for the upper corner, but Mike Hiltner came back, made a good play, and that puck got deflected over the glass. Face off to Fritz's left.
And second-year coach Bill Olson looking on, 37-6-1 out of the Iron Range Conference. And the puck is loose down to the corner of the near side with 4:35 remaining in regulation time. Iozo flipping it in behind the net. The return to Iozo, broken up, and Hainimi with it. And it's knocked down along the wing on the near side. Here's Andrikin. Andrikin is checked and taken down. Moving it right out in front, and it's cleared on the wing by Hallstrom out of the zone. Back comes Jerry Kristoff, a junior. Kristoff going cross ice. Now 4:14 remaining in regulation time. And the puck is loose in the neutral zone. And it comes back on the near side as banking it ahead. Here's Andrikin. Andrikin moving in over the blue line. He's got Hansen. Drop pass to Iozo, and it's taken away. Shot by Barolt, just deflected wide. It is played back in behind the net, working Iozo with a shot. That's blocked. Heavy traffic, and it's cleared by Apollo out of their own zone with good pressure there by the Blue Jackets.
Well, Barolt had a good opportunity to get that shot away, and as he did, he put it right into the goaltender, and he thought he had scored.
There's the break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
On radio, you can talk to your customers for a whole minute, if they're listening. When people are ready to buy, they use the Yellow Pages.
That was funny to see Barolt put his arms in the air. He lost sight of the puck. He didn't know that it was deflected wide, and he already had his arms in the air thinking he had scored another goal there.
5-2, and 5 different players have scored for the Blue Jackets of Hibbing. And the face-off, and it goes right in on Fritz, and it's cleared along the near boards. And it was held in, and it's flipped around the boards, back over to pick it up, and now Apollo, Carlson back in behind his own net. Around to the far side, it goes over to Charpentier, and it's moved up ice. The late pass for ball is broken up, and with it is Bryant. He has one of the 5 goals, and he plays it down to the corner, and we are now down to 3:20 remaining in regulation time. As Hibbing looks like they're going to move on to the semifinals. Edina was a big winner, 7-0 their score over Roseau. Incidentally, northern teams have won 25 of the tournaments, southern teams 14, but Hibbing won it in 73, Grand Rapids in 1980, the only northern teams to win it since 73. Right out in front and trying to pick it up, but his shot taken, it was deflected behind the net off the stick of Grillo.
Well, you never like to see a goal scored if you're a coach at the end of a period by the opposition or the beginning of a period. It seems to give a great deal of momentum to the other team. And oddly enough, that's what seems to have happened here. Hibbing trailing 2-0 last minute of play in the second period, scores a big goal. They come back in this third period. They've got 4 straight goals, and they're just swarming St. Cloud. St. Cloud trailing 5-2, 2:54 to go, and Hibbing not allowing them to come in under their zone.
And Hibbing has been averaging 6 goals per game on this season so far, so they're just one under that production, a 5-2 score. 16 shots for Hibbing and 3 for Apollo here with 2:38 remaining in regulation time. Apollo with the loss would be 17-7-1 of the year, and it's moved in by Mendel. Poke checked away and loose along the near boards. Coming up by stick handed with a puck now as Hibbing will play it in over the blue line, and working in a shot deflected in the glove save by Fritz. 22-1-1 for the Hibbing Blue Jackets if they were to hold on to this lead, which is now 5-2 with 2:18 remaining.
Well, you most certainly think that they're going to hold on to the lead. The way they're playing right now, they're not laying back at all. They're continuing to put pressure on. They know that they've got a victory right within their grasp, and all they're trying to do now is just lengthen their lead. They're just had by far the best period of hockey that they've had in this third period. They put on pressure from the opening whistle and haven't let up.
And it's set up at center ice. Stick handed with the puck coming in over the blue line. On the left side, here's Hiltner. Hiltner moving it in. Hiltner in the slot, and it was cleared by Marolt. Here's Marolt moving it up ice. Here's a potential 3-on-2. And over the blue line, they got Hansen in the slot. Shot and a goal. Oh, what a beautiful goal by the Blue Jackets. And Hansen, his 5th goal of the year. And it is 6-2. Hibbing out in front.
Well, Hibbing comes right back down the ice after a fine rush by Hiltner. They come down to 3-on-1, and Hansen's going around the outside. You see a fine play. Hansen's all alone in front. He just came down the outside, no one paying attention to him. He's on his right side, even though he's a left-hand shot. He's got a lot of net to shoot at. He takes that pass and just slaps it right into the empty net, putting Hibbing up 6-2.
Lou, that's one you put in the highlight film, huh?
Perfect play, just a nice passing play by Hibbing, using everybody on the ice, coming wide. Hansen all alone on the outside, no one paying attention to him, and he just put it away.
And you talk about balanced scoring. The Blue Jackets of Hibbing have 6 different people that have scored goals in this game. And the Blue Jackets are going to move on. Iozo will get 1 assist on that goal. And it's now a 6-2 game. As Apollo has a hurt player out of the ice, the 6 goals have been scored by Iozo, his 25th goal of the year, by Bryant, his 3rd goal of the year, Anderkin, his 16th goal of the year, Antonio Catani picking up a goal, his 28th of the year, and John Schwartz, his 5th goal of the year, and Tom Hansen, his 5th goal of the year, in the 6 goals that have been scored for the Blue Jackets.
Well, you can see why Hibbing's here when you got that kind of balance. So many people capable of scoring goals and do score goals. As we look at the collision right there, that's why the St. Cloud player is down right now. I think he might have hurt his knee a little bit. It seemed like he was favoring that when he went down. But Hibbing with a great balance, storming out to a 6-2 lead right now with 1:31 to go. And number 3, I believe, is Zimmerman down on the ice, being attended to by Jim Marshall, trainer from the University of Minnesota, who's worked this tournament for many, many years.
Lou, I was interested in a comment that a very good friend of yours made, Herb Brooks, who has had a lot of career thrills, but his biggest thrill, he was quoted as saying, was not the gold medal, but playing in the high school hockey tournament.
Well, if he said that, then you got to believe it. I'm sure that it ranks right up there with it, but to say it's bigger than the gold medal, I'm not so certain that that would be true. You have to remember, gold medals are won less frequently than state tournaments, but this is a great thrill for anybody who gets the opportunity to play in it, and it would have to rank in your accomplishments if you were ever to go on to any kind of success in an athletic career, and knowing that you had a state tournament championship behind you, I'm sure that that'd be right up there with anything else.
And some of the people beginning to file out of the St. Paul Civic Center as the attendance is going to be announced here, and you see it right there, 17,906. And boy, the fans of Minnesota hockey are just super, setting a tournament record last year of 102,000. And Lou, if you could probably get a bigger building, you'd have even more people in here, huh?
Well, we certainly would, as people know that there's a big waiting list. Some say it's as high as 10,000 to get tickets to this tournament. And every year there's people calling saying, I just want a couple tickets for this one game or that game, and they don't realize that you just can't get them. I've been here now 24 years. I still don't have season tickets. So
I was just going to say, anybody that wants a ticket, call you, right?
Well, I know the governor's office called yesterday and asked for some tickets, and I said, unfortunately, I don't even have any myself. I was able to buy a couple for our scouts because Marty was in it. Mark Rosen said in my ear, I didn't buy anything in my life. I didn't say I paid for it. I said I bought it, and then we make the North Stars pay for them because the scouts are using them.
This really is a good scouting area for the professional people, is it not, to take a look at future talent?
It certainly is. Every team's represented here today, Paul.
And whistle and play will be stopped behind the cage of St. Cloud Apollo. We should say something about St. Cloud Apollo. It is good for the hockey program in the St. Cloud area. They're not going to be in the championship bracket, but they can still come back here and pick up some hardware in this tournament.
Well, they certainly can, and they've got the capabilities to do that, too.
And it's played down to the corner of the near side, and we show 1:15 remaining in regulation time. It's a 6-2 Hibbing lead, and 22 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie for the Hibbing Blue Jackets. And whistle and play will be stopped here as Troy Fritz, the goaltender, sitting there in the crease area. The only team, I'm sure the people up in Virginia are saying, hey, how about that? Hibbing is 22 wins on the year with 1 loss and 1 tie, and we're the team that did it.
Well, I'll tell you, they got a fine team, and everybody knows the team in Virginia was an outstanding team. Many people thought that they could have got down here. They've got some great young players. They've got a history of having good talent up there, but anybody can come in from any area right now. There's so much balance in the state.
Exactly 1 minute remaining in regulation time. We hope you're enjoying the action. And the puck is loose now, back in the Apollo zone. The head manning it up ice and controlling the puck coming in over the blue line on the left side is Ball as he tried to advance it, but it was flipped up over the plexiglass and out of play.
When we talk about this Hibbing team and we look at the youth, many of their stars, just juniors, you can anticipate right now a lot of people up north saying, how are we going to beat them next year if they're already down here this year with this team and they still got so many guys coming back?
Well, they beat Evelyn 4-3 back in 1952 to win the championship. And they finished the 73 season 22-4-2 with a 6-3 win over Alexander Ramsey. And Stick Hanley with the puck now, controlling it. It's wristed in over the blue line. 40 seconds remaining in regulation time. In Game 3, Bloomington Kennedy against Burnsville. That game will be telecast, as well as all of the games here in the tournament, by WCCO. Played back now, back in behind the net with 25 seconds remaining in regulation time. And here's Hagen moving it up ice on the lead pass. And just a matter now of skating out the time here as Charpentier with the puck. Charpentier knocked down at the blue line. 10 seconds remaining in regulation time. It's going to be a 6-2 final. The Hibbing Blue Jackets are going to move into the semifinals, and they'll have a tough opponent. And there it is, a 6-2 win. As 6 different players score goals. Iozo, along with Bryant, Andrican, along with Antonio Catani, along with Schwartz and Hansen, and 2 goals in this one for the St. Cloud Apollo Eagles, scored by Hildner, and the other goal by Hallstrom.
And all the Hibbing players going down to congratulate their goaltender, John Hyduke, a youngster that wants to become a dentist. You wonder why he wants to go become a dentist when he can play goal like that. But it's a fine hockey team. It's going to be a great matchup tomorrow against Edina. They had beaten Edina earlier this year 3-2 on the strong play of Hyduke and Hansen. There he is coming out of the nets today. Very happy team, but you've got to give that St. Cloud Apollo a great deal of credit. They were an underdog coming into the tournament. They made it here. They played extremely well for 2 periods. They just seemed to run out of gas. And a well-balanced Hibbing attack just got 5 goals in the 3rd period to run away with a 6-2 win. Hibbing, the #1 team all year long, showed why they never quit when they're behind, and with their balance, they're always capable of bouncing back.
That'll be a great matchup with Edina, huh?
It certainly should. After the game they had earlier this season, I saw the game replay on television later on, and it was an excellent game, well played by both teams. They each have superb goaltending, strong defense, and some outstanding goal scoring up front. But I think the key is they both have great balance. As we saw today with Hibbing, 6 different scores, and with the Edina team, many different players getting goals today.
Well, 3-2 was the score. Hibbing defeating Edina. But that's history now. This is like a new season. Now let's go down to Sports Control to Ralph John Fritz and Mark Rosen.
Well, I guess, Mark, we anticipated that Hibbing might be able to come back, but to score 5 goals in that 3rd period, I don't think anyone anticipated that.
Well, we were both talking about the possibility of overtime at the end of that 2nd period. The big goal, I think, in the game was that power play goal by Catani at the end of the 2nd period, their first one. That really set the momentum in their favor going into the 3rd period, and they blitzed them.
And then Andrican getting the early one 19 seconds into the 3rd period. Of course, that helped a little too.
Last week I had the chance to talk with Billy Olson, the head coach of Hibbing, and I know he was happy when he won the regionals. I can imagine how he feels right now. He's with Tom Hanneman. Tom?
Well, Bill Olson is a little bit hoarse right now from yelling a lot tougher game than some people had anticipated.
Well, anytime you get into a tournament with a team like Apollo or anybody else, it's going to be tough. There are psychological things that you have to get by. There's a lot of tension, and there was tension out there, and you have to give Apollo a lot of credit. They hustled and they played the game well, and we're fortunate to come out with a win.
You've got Edina in the semifinals. You've played the Hornets once earlier this year, beat them 3-2 a long time ago. What type of a game do you anticipate tomorrow in the semifinals?
Well, I anticipate the same type of game that we had today, a hard skating game, hard fought, and I hope we do well. You know, if it's in the stars, things will come out all right.
You mentioned earlier you wanted to introduce your assistant coach and thank him again for the work he's done today.
Well, we've meshed together this year. You know, sometimes we have differences as far as coaching, but the key is to mesh them together and make it a cohesive type thing, and that's natural in coaching, but he's done a great job, and I couldn't do it without him, and he's a great man.
You obviously are pleased with the win today. What do you expect from Edina tomorrow?
Well, we played them earlier in the year, and it went down. We got a goal with like 2.5 minutes left, so it's going to be a very even game, and it could come down to the last 2 minutes of tomorrow night's game as well.
Okay, Assistant Coach Bill Teacher, thank you so much. Gentlemen, I appreciate your time. We'll send it back to Sports Control.
Okay, Tom, thank you very much. I think there's a reason why Bill Olson feels that way about his assistants. Bill Olson was an assistant under George Purpose for almost 20 years. This is his first trip to the state tournament as a head coach, but he has a lot of experience here. Congratulations.
Well, on the other side of the coin, Ed Zins was an assistant coach. He was the head coach of St. Cloud Apollo. He was an assistant for 20 years under Willard Eichel, and it almost looked like we'd have a Zins-Eichel rematch here.
Well, it looked that way at least up until the start of the third period when Hibbing took control of the game. Well, live from the St. Paul Civic Center, this is continuing action of the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Channel 4 Sports gives you a lot more than just the scores. Channel 4's sports coverage is so complete, it's almost like being there.
Introducing Dodge Daytona, Daytona Turbo, Daytona Turbo Z. Cars that will revolutionize your perspective of the American road. Standard 550 protection, fuel injected, front wheel drive, and 2 models turbocharged. The revolutionary Daytonas from Dodge. The American road will never look the same again.
We are Dodge and America's revolution.
Miami, the Mets are in my Orlando. Oh,
isn't it funny how often you hear from friends vacationing in warm places when you're stuck in a cold place?
Las Vegas. Now there's an exciting place. Da, 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 da,
Republic Airlines flies to more warm places from Florida to California than any other airline. We have a warm spot for you, too.
Focus on Republic.
What have I done?
Nobody serves our Republic like Republic.
Banks just love to give away toasters. But if you're reinvesting certificate money this month, TCF thinks you deserve more, like RCA TVs, Panasonic stereo tape recorders, Olivetti typewriters, and more. 20 big gifts. Your choice, free with a qualifying deposit in a 30-month certificate. TCF 30-month certificates, high guaranteed rates, and more than just a toaster.
Welcome back to the St. Paul Civic Center. Ralph, St. Cloud Apollo came in here with a lot of confidence. They played that way in the first 2 periods, taking a 2-0 lead.
They had a 1-0 lead after the first period mark, and we'll take a look at the highlights. That second goal came as number 6, Mike Hiltner, who is one of the leaders on this team, fed number 14, Eric Hallstrom, who scored to make it 2-0 for Apollo, and at that point, everything going very well for St. Cloud Apollo. Number 6, Mike Hiltner, again with the assist here, and he had just been injured prior to making that feed for Eric Hallstrom. 2-0 Apollo, and it was 2-1 after 2, and from there, you can pick up the big goal for Hibbing.
Well, Troy Fritz made a couple of big saves as we look at the goal again for St. Cloud Apollo. But Nick Andrikin is the man, number 7, who's the leader of this Hibbing team, both on and off the ice. The players have a lot of respect for him. Fritz had no control over the third rebound there. He did everything, but needed some help from his defenseman at this point. And Andrikin's goal tied the game at 2-2, and then Hibbing took the lead for good.
Well, the puck takes funny bounces at times, and this one, it was difficult to see who got it. They credited the goal to number 10, Richie Bryant, and that made it 3-2 and actually turned out to be the winner, and it bounced off a couple of people there and off a player and off a skate. As we said, Richie Bryant got the goal, 3-2. That was the game winner as Hibbing went on to score 5 goals in the third period and win it 6-2. Saves on the day. Fritz for Apollo at 24, Hajduk at 21 for Hibbing.
Great balance all the way through Hibbing's team. I think if you look at one club that has the nice balance between offensive ability and defensive ability, we've talked to Doug Woog, who will be assisting us throughout the tournament. He said Hibbing is the team that has that nice mesh.
Well, we can take a look at the championship pairings now as we head for this evening's session as you see Edina a 7-0 winner over Roseau in Game 1 this afternoon. And it was Hibbing, as we said, 6-2, game just completed. It'll be Edina and Hibbing in the semifinals. Tonight, of course, Kennedy, Burnsville.
The battle of the Lake Conference South, the familiar opponents, Kennedy and Burnsville. Then tonight, the final game, the one which will have a lot of emotion. St. Paul Johnson going up against the defending champs from Hill Murray, and I think the east side of St. Paul might as well close up shop tonight because everyone will either be watching that game here at the Civic Center or on television.
That's tonight. The one there everyone is expecting a 15-14 game. It'll probably be 1-0, but it should be an exciting game.
Look forward to 2 more championship games tonight as the quarterfinals continue at the St. Paul Civic Center. We'll see you then. Have a very good afternoon.
Hockey 84 has been brought to you by the largest savings and banking institution in our part of the country, Twin City Federal, now more than $3 billion strong. By Republic Airlines. Nobody serves our Republic like Republic. By Dodge and your local Viking Land Dodge dealer, where an American revolution is happening now. And by Northwestern Bell, the Information Network.